You're listening to the Spirit Podcast.
Hi, friends, and welcome to the Spirit. I'm Beck.
And I'm Steph.
Hey, Steph.
Hi.
You know what's perplexing?
No.
Hot dog bun ratio to hot dogs.
Yeah, that's been a problem for a while. And are you talking about the amount of hot dog buns you get?
Versus...
Not the length of the hot dog
No.
versus the hot dog.
How many buns you get versus the dogs you get.
Yeah, no one matches that.
Well, Heinz actually is doing a petition to try to get the buns to match the dogs.
But who is wrong? Is it the bun factory or is it the hot dog factory?
They're claiming, which I know is to be true, that there's too many buns in the ratio versus hot dogs. So when you buy a pack of hot dogs, I think you get like 6.
Yeah, but isn't it true, though, when you get those ones that are kind of connected to each other, they tear and break?
They do, but they're saying they get 12 buns for 6 dogs. Or I think it's 8 buns for 6 dogs.
Why don't you just buy more hot dogs?
Because then it takes 4 packages to equal it out.
Yeah.
So you have to buy more buns and more dogs to equal it. So let's talk about what today's show is about.
Let's do it. Becky had this I get the text, right? It says, this is what our next show is going to be about. Mysterious doors. And guess what? That's one of the hardest things to find.
It is. I challenge us. It's a challenge. But we did find some. Just not enough for an hour show.
Whoa, that was a big old UFO.
That was, and I don't have the noise gate on. I'm playing with our new podcast gear, and I have not mastered it yet. Have you ever seen a mysterious door, Steph?
Well, I think growing up, I'm just going to, as a side note, I felt like all doors were kind of spooky.
But were they mysterious?
In a way, to me, doors became a different thing at night. Because if they creaked, like during the day, just a door, go through the door. But at night, it's like they changed. They're creaking for no reason. There's weird lights that you see underneath the crack of the door. You're like, what's it? And you see some shadow go by that light, and you're like, what the hell is that? No noise.
Uh-huh.
Doors can be really serious. And then a lot of people who have spirit activity or demonic activity, that's one of the things that seems to affect them. Shaking doorknobs, opening doors, closing doors, slamming doors. Like, why do they pick the door? It's so weird. They could pick anything. Why don't they open up the knife drawer?
Or, well, they do sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
The cupboards, windows.
But there must be psychological. I mean, if it's demonic, they're supposed to be very intelligent, so they choose a door because I think there's something about it that is.
I think you're right about that. I used to live in an old hospital. It was built in the 1800s. It wasn't a hospital when I lived there. It was a kind of a dormitory for single women. And my mom left her husband and we moved in there. Now, in the basement, there were these huge steel doors that had chains across them that said, keep out. And my brother and I would ride our belly scooters down there. You know those little belly scooters?
I'm not really sure.
They're like little square pieces of wood with 4 rollers on the bottom. And you usually could sit your butt on them and scoot, or you could...
It's like a thing to move something with, but you're using it like to play
yeah,
with.
I guess so. But they kind of, kids use them. We used them in gym class for crab soccer. I don't know if you remember that. So we would get on those belly scooters while my mom would use the payphone in the basement. We would roll down the hall, past the big scary doors that said keep out. And they had little windows in the door, like one little window that would be frosted over. And I'd always see a little hole scratched out, like somebody was looking through those doors. It was so creepy.
Do you know what those doors led to at all?
They did lead to the incinerator room.
Maybe they were incinerating bodies.
They were, because it was during a time of tuberculosis, and when the children would die, they would incinerate them.
Oh, that's ultra sad.
Ultra scary, too. So those doors were horrifying. The door to go down to the basement was horrifying. It was a big metal push lever door, like an emergency door type of deal, but it was heavy.
Oh, let's make the emergency door impossible to open.
Right. From the inside coming up out of the basement, it was almost impossible. It was like, what? We're stuck.
How's that an emergency door?
Yeah, I don't...
Emergency door should be the easiest door to open.
I don't necessarily think it was an emergency door. It was just...
An exit?
Yes,
maybe?
It said exit on.
Okay, so it's not an
weird.
emergency door.
Yeah. Those doors were scary. Mysterious doors. Let's talk about a mysterious door. Mysterious locked doors that should never be opened. There are few things in this world more tantalizing than mysterious locked doors. It's human nature to want to explore forbidden places. So a locked door presents an alluring enigma. If someone took the time and the effort to lock a place away, there must be something intriguing and important waiting. However, some of these mysteries are better left unsolved. And we're going to get into some of the world's most fascinating and mysterious locked doors that should probably be left unopened. The hidden chamber of the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is one of the most popular tourist attractions in India, and in 1631, Shah Jahan began work on the temple, which was to be a monument to his late wife. I think most people know this, who had died giving birth to her 14th child. The temple, which took 22 years and 32 million rupees, do you know what that equals in USD?
No, I don't know.
Was truly a work of love. Although this breathtaking building attracts up to 8 million visitors every year, there are places in the temple that tourists never see. Below are the areas where tourists often visit. There's an entire story with entrances sealed behind marble arches. It is believed that there are 1,089 rooms in this hidden level. There is another floor hiding approximately 22 rooms hidden behind Hindu paintwork. Even on the open first floor, there are numerous mysterious locked doors that no one's able to unseal. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, maybe he was planning a bigger family than those 14.
But why are they sealed? What's going
children?
on? So what is hidden in these sealed areas? There are several theories. The prevailing belief is that these areas were built hastily and do not boast the same grandeur as the rest of the monument. Oh, so they were just kind of hodgepodge. But not everyone believes this is true. According to one theory, the sealed areas of the Taj Mahal are actually hiding the woman the monument immortalizes, Mumtaz Mahal. This theory purports that Shah Jahan secretly had his favorite wife mummified so he could keep her close to him, even in death. This would have been a serious violation in the Islamic commandments, and he would have been declared a heretic had the transgression been discovered. Some also believe that Mumtaz Mahal remains in the hidden rooms in more than just body, that her spirit haunts the rooms as well. Although the Shah built this epic monument in her honor, not everyone believes this adored spouse was as happy in life as history would have us believe. Her husband, after all, had a harem numbering in the thousands, and he and his armies were known for their sexual violence. Are the sealed areas of the Taj Mahal home to the spirit of a scorned wife, or possibly even the spirits of Shah's many victims? The answer lies behind sealed doors that will never be opened. Well, I say they just open them.
I know, just open it, damn it.
With today's modern technology, we can't open these doors.
Maybe it's just like we're going to get into some other stories about doors that there's nothing behind it. They just created a door, but there's nothing there.
All right, tell us about it, Steph.
I don't know if anyone's heard of Winchester Guns. So that's a famous company going back maybe a couple hundred years or so. I'm not really sure, but famous rifle from the West that they used in a lot of gunfights. And I guess the heiress of this company had gone to a psychic or something, and she told her that there's all the spirits of the dead, the ones who had died from the gun violence out in the West, were going to torment her. So she built this big mansion with all these doors and stairways and rooms to kind of appease these spirits that she believed were going to come after her because of she felt really guilty and responsible for making all this money and knowing that people were basically shooting each other. She had a terrible guilt over it, if anyone's seen the movie, but there is the real Winchester Mansion, and I don't know, do they do the film there at all, do you know? Or do you think they just
I don't think
had a makeshift one?
Probably just a movie studio.
But I think it's in the Winchester Mansion is in San Jose, which is in California, and it says it is a labyrinth filled with staircases that lead to nowhere, doors that open into walls. It has 160 bedrooms, 40 staircases, 13 bathrooms, and 47 fireplaces. There are a whopping 10,000 windows and 2,000 doors. And there is a door that goes to nowhere. And I think it has like a drop off. There's a picture of it. Literally, there's stairwells that go to nowhere.
Right.
Or either just random things. She just felt like she had to keep on building this.
Because she wanted to confuse the spirits.
Or confuse the spirit. Yeah, that's what it was about.
She didn't want them, she wanted everything disorientating so that they couldn't find her from the victims that died from the Winchester guns.
Oh, this is the only, I have a picture, I wish that everyone could see this at home, of Sarah Lockwood, but she's very weird looking. The only known photograph of her.
It's just a
She's
photograph.
very eccentric looking. It's got the doors.
Would you stay the night there, Steph?
Probably not. I'm just not into like hotel. I mean, I don't know.
Motels, Holiday Inns.
Hotels. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the mysterious locked doors of the Padmanabhaswamy Temple. And I probably butchered that. I apologize. Now, although the Taj Mahal is the most well-known temple in India, it's not the only one that tourists frequent, nor is it the only one that boasts mysterious locked doors. And I'm not going to try to say that again, but I'm going to call it the temple. The temple is believed to have been built in the 6th century as a temple to the Hindu god Vishnu. It's filled with precious treasures, and since 1729 has been managed by the Travancore royal family. However, in 2011, their control was stripped away when accusations that they were mismanaging the temple's treasures came to light. A committee took over the temple, and upon entering, found 6 sealed vaults. Try saying that 5 times fast. The vaults were not easy to open. They were sealed by iron doors with no locks, hatches, hinges, or any other indication of openings. 5 of the doors were eventually opened, but 1 remained sealed. The mysterious Chamber B for Beck. Chamber B is inexplicably absent from all records of the temple's treasure, and there are many legends that have sprung up about it. Some believe that the chamber is somehow linked to the ocean floor, and opening it will cause a massive flood of biblical proportions.
Holy cow. I hope the people can hear this.
They don't. That never shows up when you listen
doesn't
back.
seem like
do
we
it?
hear it, so
We
why doesn't
hear
it show up?
I don't know. Others claim that the Travancore family sealed the door with a spell cast by religious officials from numerous religions, and that only a high priest can open it without bringing about disaster. Since the temple has been opened by the committee, there have been numerous attempts to open Chamber B. Many of the people who have been involved in these attempts have inexplicably fallen ill. Even Sonder Rajan, who is largely responsible for removing the Travancores from their stewardship of the temple, died not long after Chamber B was discovered. Are these illnesses and deaths just coincidences, or is there something dark and powerful lurking behind this locked door? There are many still trying to open the chamber, but others believe it's better left alone.
That would just eat away at me. There was a closet door in my house growing up that I was obsessed with because it was locked all the time. All I wanted to do was see it. And my dad sometimes would be getting things out of there. I'd try to like move past them and look in there.
Christmas present
It was
closet?
the Christmas
Okay.
present closet. And that wasn't, it's not like we had Christmas presents all year round, but my dad just had this obsession with keeping it locked. But eventually I found the key and I was in it all the time. There was nothing really in it except maybe like important documents and stuff that my dad wanted to make sure were safe. Nothing secret or scary. No weird mannequin doll or anything.
No. I went to a friend's house in Vermont and he had an old farmhouse. And in that farmhouse, he had a fireplace. And there was a faux brick area of the fireplace that opened up. And behind it was a safe. And it came with the house. They tried everything to open it. They even got locksmiths to try to open that. They never could get it open. It drove me nuts every time I'd go there because I wanted in. I wanted it to know. I kept saying, what if there's gold in there? You don't know what's in there. It drove. I think I would be obsessive if I knew there was a secret door or a locked vault in my house. I'd do everything I could to get that open.
There was a video I saw of a guy that basically was looking for people who were selling safes, like old safes, because they couldn't get them open. And they were just desperate just to get rid of it with the estate. So he bought a safe. I can't remember how much money he paid. He paid a lot of money for it. And I don't remember that amount, but it wasn't a small amount. And so
for a closed lock safe?
Yeah, a really heavy one. Like
that you couldn't open.
Yeah, no one could open it. And he decided to take the risk. I'm gonna buy it. He could barely get it off the property. It was so heavy. It was a huge, like the size of a refrigerator, and he got it open.
What was in there?
Gold bars, diamonds. He made a killing. It was amazing to watch. It was so amazing to watch that he had to do some serious grinding and some torch work, some all this stuff.
That is way better than Storage Wars.
Yeah. I was so excited to see this video. I was like, wow, I want that to happen to me.
They need to do a show where people try to open those vaults all around, or like safes.
Isn't Fort Knox, that's the big conspiracy, is that there's actually no gold in there, that it's just a big phony empty space that someone guards, and there's, I don't know.
Probably.
But have you heard of the Banff Springs Hotel?
No.
Okay, this is in Canada. The official name of this hotel is the Fairmount Banff Springs. The location of this hotel is perfect. It gives you a mind-blowing view of Mount Rundle and Bow Valley there, which I've never heard of Mount Rundle or Bow Valley. The hotel is located at an altitude of 1,414 meters. Despite being in such a beautiful and peaceful place, one room of the hotel is a mystery spot. Many mysterious stories of this hotel have emerged in the past years. Out of the many, the mystery of room 873 is the most mysterious. Room 873, which was on the 8th floor, is now mysteriously missing.
It's absent.
It's absent. Instead of the door, there is a long stretched wall. It looks as if someone sealed the room. Knocking on the wall, you will find that it is hollow, which confirms there's a room behind the plastered wall. People say that in 1928, a married couple and their daughter checked in, but none of them was alive. The man killed his wife and his daughter before killing himself. People who had stayed in the room claimed that the family still haunts room 873. They complained about the screams and reflection of a girl in the mirror. This is the reason why the room is sealed.
Okay.
Yeah, so they basically had to stop renting it. I mean, wouldn't you feel terrible if you had a murder in a hotel room and you're like, well, would you clean up the blood and we'll start renting it out soon?
Well, not only did they hear blood-curdling screams, but they would see bloody handprints marking the walls, some thrown from their beds, or even found the bloody hands marking their own bodies. In China, there's mysterious locked doors beneath the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor. In 1974, 5 brothers were digging a well in China, and they made one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in history. Little did they know that their discovery would be the first step in finding one of the world's most mysterious locked doors. The brothers found terracotta fragments that led to a discovery of a massive underground necropolis, the Museum of the Qin Shi Huang, the first Qin emperor. The necropolis was massive, and excavating just a small portion took years. One of the first and most famous discoveries was a group of over 7,000 terracotta statues of warriors and horses erected to protect the emperor's tomb. That's a lot. The brothers who were responsible for the initial discovery and excavation of the necropolis later came to regret their find. All 5 began to suffer immensely after the excavations began. They and their families began to face extreme financial hardships, soon sinking into poverty. They came down with the mysterious diseases and were too poor to afford medicine. One of the 5 hanged himself to end his suffering, and the others eventually died, penniless. Many believe that the tomb that they helped unearth is cursed, and that the curse is the cause of their misfortune. The actual tomb containing the remains of Qin Shi Huang has yet to be opened. The necropolis surrounding it's massive, so excavations will take decades. Many believe that the tomb itself should remain sealed. After the suffering that was visited on the brothers who first discovered the mausoleum, who knows what horrors could be waiting behind the mysterious locked doors of the tomb itself.
Why am I laughing? I don't know.
I don't either.
It's Becky's face staring at me after the story, like, ta-da! I just told a story.
I made it
That's the
through.
end of my story. That was an ancient Chinese secret. the Great Sphinx of Giza. So everyone knows about Egypt and their culture. It seems like we've been saturated with it in the United States.
It's iconic, yeah.
It is very iconic. And there's so many great civilizations that we don't hear about. And so I think a lot of people think in their minds that's like the most amazing time period of all in the Middle East is this.
Well, I think it is.
It is amazing. I don't know.
I mean, it was carved from a solid piece of limestone. It's an impressive feat of architecture.
That's true. So, Egypt is famous for its archaeological sites as well as mystery spots, and in Egypt, Giza is famous for its pyramids. It is one of the favorite mystery spots for the researchers solving the mystery of history, whatever the hell that was.
The mystery of history.
That rhyme. There's a hall of records somewhere beneath, under the sands. Archaeologists believe that there are caverns beneath the Sphinx, but the Egyptian government has so far not allowed any additional excavation or research into the caverns. Many people support the government for not permitting the door to be open. Some believe that there might be aliens or something supernatural that should not be distributed. I'm telling you, this must be a translated article that went haywire. I'm going to say
banging?
disturbed.
Do you keep hearing hear it? I'm not moving. Hear it?
Oh, it must be my foot then.
Yeah. You keep hitting it, and I'm like, what? Okay.
I'm going to
Do you want me to read it?
You read it because there's something wrong with this.
Okay.
And it's very short.
It isn't an uncommon belief that the people of ancient Egypt had knowledge that modern societies can only dream of. How else could they have created impressive monuments such as the pyramids? Many who theorize about the ancient knowledge of Egypt believe that somewhere under the sands of Egypt lies a library holding its ancient secrets known as the Hall of Records. Could this library be waiting beneath the Great Sphinx? Archaeologists have long known since that there are, in fact, caverns beneath the Sphinx, but the Egyptian government has so far not allowed any additional excavation or research into the caverns. What are these caves hiding? Could it be the lost knowledge of ancient Egypt? Some believe there's a good reason to leave all the caverns unexplored. In addition to the Hall of Records, some theorize that the caverns were home to an ancient race of intelligent beings that are distinctly different from humanity. Aliens. Some believe they were aliens. Some believe they were Atlanteans. Some believe they were something else entirely. Whatever these beings were, many think that their home should remain undisturbed. Who knows what evils they left behind? Who knows if they ever left at all? What that reminds me of was a movie that just got released with Chris Pratt called The Tomorrow War. Have you seen the preview for this?
No, I feel like I might have a little bit. I'm not sure.
And I don't want to ruin the movie. An alien race basically starts taking over the earth and eating humans. And in the movie, they have this device that allows them to jump back and forward to the future, because this isn't going to happen for 30 years. So Chris Pratt, being a ex-military guy and a science teacher, gets sent to the future to fight the war against the aliens so that humanity has a chance of surviving. Because when he jumps to the future, there's only 500,000 people left on the entire planet, because these things have been just wiping us out, eating us. And they're horrific. These things are like, I don't know how you would battle them.
Sounds like a fantasy of Jeff Bezos and
Bill Gates.
My thing's knocking again. I laugh and it starts knocking.
Where the aliens are actually coming from, I don't want to ruin, but we kind of theorized it in one of our paranormal news shares that we've done. We kind of theorized about scientists should knock it off. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm not going to ruin it for people. I'll probably end up cutting this whole segment. But yeah, aliens. What do you think's down there? I think there's aliens in Egypt. They're probably buried in those tombs.
Aliens?
Yeah.
No, not me.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I'm thinking there might be big piles of sand down there, but I don't know.
I mean, look at their hieroglyphs. Look at all their crap.
Maybe they saw that stuff when they were doing drugs.
What were they taking? Like desert peyote?
Could be.
Snorting lines of sand?
Could be.
Steph, there's aliens.
That's where they see it. That's where I think that they've seen them in other dimensions doing drugs. It's hard for me to think of that. I don't know. I don't really think of it that way. I like to think that people were geniuses and they...
Ancient aliens.
So So I had a chance to go through the Holy Door at the Vatican back in 2001. The Holy Door, in Latin it means Porta Sancta, is traditionally an entrance portal located within the papal major basilicas in Rome. The doors are normally sealed by mortar and cement from the inside so that they cannot be opened. They put a lot of effort into this whole ritual. They are ceremoniously opened during Jubilee years designated by the Pope. For pilgrims who enter through those doors may piously gain the plenary indulgence. And let me explain to anyone who's not Catholic what a plenary indulgence is. So basically you have to say a set of prayers. That it might be the Apostles' Creed or the Nicene Creed and a few Our Fathers, a few Hail Marys.
Wasn't Apostles' Creed in Rocky 2?
Apollo Creed. So you say those set of prayers, you walk through the door, you spin around 3 times.
Click your heels.
And click your heels.
Right.
Dip your hand in the holy water and you are free of your sins.
Oh.
Yep. It's that easy. And I think you have to go to confession. But it's weird. If they make you go to confession, then why go through the holy door? Because it's basically that going to confession is equal to going through the holy door. So don't understand that. But I went through it. Didn't feel anything. I thought I would basically feel something if I went through it. Like it would be like this really mystical experience. Yeah. And I was like, just walk through it. And I was like,
Well, in the middle of Finland, there is a doorway like no other in the entire world. And unlike some of the other doors on the list that were sealed long ago, workers are currently filling the room on the doors with something dangerous. Once the room is full, the door will be sealed with a warning, never to be opened again. This door leads to the world's first and only permanent repository for nuclear waste. It is called Onkalo, or cavity in Finnish. Radioactive spent fuel is stored here, and it will continue being filled up for the next 100 years. Once it's full, it will contain 6,500 tons of uranium. Once the door is sealed, opening it would mean unleashing dangerous radioactivity on the entire world.
This triggers a lot in me. This makes me so angry.
It's horrifying. There are many infectious diseases that are luckily a part of our past, but there are labs out there that hide these diseases from the public in case they ever need to be studied again. But what if the labs are the reason the diseases find the way back into the world? Wuhan. Soon after smallpox was eradicated, the World Health Organization ordered that the last remaining life samples of the virus be stored away in laboratories at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta and the Russian State Center for Research on Virology and Biotechnology. These labs are not to be touched unless the samples are needed in an emergency. But keeping these viruses is so dangerous that the government has considered destroying the lab altogether. Smallpox causes fever, convulsions, and painful blisters and has a very low survival rate. It would be a disaster if it found its way back into the public, and that's why the doors to these smallpox vaults are sealed and protected.
There shouldn't be a vault for smallpox.
Radiation doors.
Well, this is the one thing is that I will listen to people that they'll say, we have clean energy. It's called nuclear power. I'm like, yes, steam is whatever. That's what is the exhaust that comes out of those things. But they have to store this stuff somewhere. And what are we going to spend our entire eternity storing this like toxic crap that can, and you see all the accidents that happen throughout the world. Who would do this?
We would, because we're idiots.
I know, but intellectual people, smart people, they obviously think, oh, we could do this. We're not going to have accidents. Like, I'm thinking all these scientists, oh my God, Becky, and we live 50 miles away from one of these places.
I know. This is what's scary. Electromagnetic equipment has revealed the existence of a hidden chamber concealed behind the walls of Machu Picchu. But no matter how many have appealed to the Peruvian government, they refuse to open the door and see what lies inside. The discovery of the chamber's hidden door occurred when an archaeologist noticed the presence of a strange entrance at the foot of one of the main buildings, on the small path that tourists and explorers rarely ever took. Experts believe that the secret space could house the tomb of the Inca ruler for whom Machu Picchu was likely built. The tomb would probably contain all of his riches and priceless artifacts from the time of his burial. Since the door's discovery, access to the entrance has been prohibited with a construction work sign. Anyone who attempts to trespass will be treated to a hefty fine. Well, if that was in America, it'd be shot on sight.
It sounds amazing. It sounds like a story for like Indiana Jones.
It really does.
Yeah.
They know what's behind some of these doors, obviously viruses.
I would just get my metal detector and just like wave it.
Well, that's
over
what they
the
said.
door.
They said the electromagnetic equipment was going off.
Oh,
So they know that there's
there's
treasures.
stuff in there.
Yeah. I mean, do they have that much money over there in the Peruvian government? What if they open that up and there's so much gold that their country's set for life? Like a win for life.
So my favorite story of doors comes from literature and like the stories that are fake or whatever, but they're so enchanting when you're a kid. I love some of the ones that they mention in here. Books in and of themselves are magical doorways. One of the stories is the wardrobe door to Narnia, the C.S. Lewis, The Lion, the Witch.
And the wardrobe.
Yeah, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
And I love the movie. I've never read the book. Have you?
No.
I feel like I'm not a book reader when I was a kid.
I wasn't either. I'll admit it.
I liked books with lots of pictures in it. Just to let you know.
The Sears catalog.
Yeah, I loved Sears catalog and JCPenney catalog. Right to the toys.
The comic strips in the Sunday.
I did read those, but
Okay.
not books, you know, unless it was about like sharks.
Oh,
I'd read it.
Okay.
Sharks were cool. So, but in the movie, they went through a wardrobe, which I didn't know that we would call it an armoire.
An armoire.
An armoire, but in England, it's a wardrobe. And I thought that was just the coolest thing. I didn't realize that until I saw the movie. Like, they went through, I would have loved that. I loved closets. Okay, so I think a lot of people are familiar with that. The Cupboard Door and Indian in the Cupboard. That's another awesome movie. But I think that was a book as well.
Yeah.
Indian in the Cupboard was a great movie. It was done super awesome.
That was great.
And that would be a really interesting, fun thing if you were a kid and you had a little tiny toy that came alive. And then there's The Door to Wonderland and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. That's another awesome story. And it's got drug taking in there, which is amazing for little kids who I didn't realize at the time. I thought it was like food kind of, but didn't understand it was
Red
drugs.
pill, blue pill.
Yeah.
One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small.
So have any of you seen Coraline, the movie Coraline?
Me and all my friends in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Coraline.
Coraline was really spooky.
It was freaky. I thought it was a Tim Burton movie, but it's not.
No.
But it has a Burton-esque feel to it.
Yes, it does. And that's the door in the living room that she went through.
Yeah.
And was that the movie where her parents were in it, but they were different? They had like button eyes and weird. I've never seen this one. I don't know if it was a book either. The Cairn Tunnel. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Great movie.
Never saw it.
Gotta watch it.
Do you think it's on Netflix? Can I mention Netflix on here?
You might, yeah. I think you might check for it because that was a great movie and it's got Ava Green.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
No?
She was in Penny Dreadful.
I didn't see that one either.
Great Showtime show.
Oh, that was a show. It wasn't a movie.
It was a Showtime series, but it was
Okay.
it was really good if you ever get a chance to watch that. So, yes.
Well, have you seen this one? And I started watching this one with my brother. I still haven't finished it. But it's Windows into Other Worlds. It's by Philip Pullman, His Dark Materials. Have you seen
Love His Dark Materials.
I love that show.
Love it. I've watched every season so far. I think there's been 2 seasons. And I'm up to date.
It's awesome. But I like the whole idea is that there's this veiled world that like seems like privileged people get to go through that they're controlling. They almost seem like a church or a religion or something that they control. Right? Isn't there like
I don't want to ruin it.
Okay. Probably one of the most popular movies in the world, which was a book, is the Harry Potter stories, where he went through the platform.
Chamber door? Chamber, is that what it was on?
What was it? Yeah, but he was on the platform at the railroad station.
Oh, the hidden door,
The
yeah.
hidden door,
Yeah.
So that's one. It seems to be in the similar type of movies and shows. Like this whole idea of going into another world. And that was kind of the way my imagination was back when I was a kid. The Doors on the Beach by Stephen King. The Dark Tower series. Never heard of it.
No.
And, I love this one. The Lord of the Rings, The Doors of Durin. They wanted to go through the passageway so they could have a shortcut through the mountain.
Right.
Gandalf was all stumped about the Elvish that was on there, that movie has everything that I'm looking for in fantasy. Then I sound like a nerd. I'm really not. I am not a nerd.
She's a nerd.
But that was it. That's all that I have. And I think those are really awesome movies, stories, books.
With a door.
With a door. And if anyone has encountered a haunted door or a mysterious door that we've never heard of, please let us know.
Yeah, you can hit us up on our email at tothespiritpod@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us on our Facebook page, our Instagram, our Twitter. Subscribe and like our channel on YouTube. And when it comes to doors,
opening a book is as simple as opening a door in the real world, but often much more rewarding. Doorways within books are something special.
To the Spirit
Podcast.
Supernatural Science.
I'm ghost.
Psychic. Mystic.
Spirit.
Divine source.
Heaven.
It's magic, man.